Hey everyone. A lot of the journal I'm about to read takes place called Bondi Beach. Now, you might have heard of Bondi Beach lately because it's been in the news for very, very sad reasons. And I felt like I just wanted to bring it up at the top of this episode to send my love to all of the people in Bondi. As you may or may not know, on December 14th of 2025, 15 people were killed and 40 plus more were wounded in a tragic mass shooting that took place right on the beach during a Jewish ceremony for Hanukkah. I've had friends and family ask how I've been feeling because people know that I spent a lot of time in this beautiful place called Bondi Beach. And my main reaction was just sorrow, sadness, anger, grief, and also a sense of disbelief because Bondi, as I remember it, was just such a happy, vibrant place. And it's hard to imagine anything bad happening there, let alone something as horrific as this shooting. So I didn't want to record this episode without saying that and just once again sending my love to those 15 victims' families, the families and friends of the people who are wounded, and of course to Bondi itself. Thank you for all of your gifts, your memories, your lessons, and once again, just sending all of Australia so much love during this difficult season. For more than 2 decades, I have written in a diary almost every single day. And guess what? I saved them all. Each week, I will be reading from these archives and getting to know myself from the lens of my 10, 16, 25, and 36-year-old self. We'll explore big topics such as body image, queerness, divorce, addiction, mental health, and friendship. I'll read cringy poems and attempt to find compassion for the painful tenderness of my younger self. Join the drama of me and my guests as we explore our boy-crazy, closeted, angsty selves, one stupid page at a time. Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome to another episode of the Angsty Pod. It is absolutely crazy to me that I have recorded almost 30 episodes, or maybe more than 30 episodes of this podcast. I'm coming up to my 2-year anniversary with this thing, and I mean, if you look at my stack of diaries, I have only made a small dent. So theoretically, we have so much more fun to have. And if you are someone who's listening along as these episodes come out, then you might know that last episode was an absolute career and personal highlight for me. Probably one of my favorite things I did in all of 2025 was interviewing my dad on the Angsty Pod. We had such a fun time having that conversation, and can report that my dad loved the episode and was just like so happy with how I put it together, and said he was going to be like posting it and sharing it and like seeing what his friends thought of it. And I just know that it's something that I will treasure for always. And I mean, I treasure all my episodes with guests, and I've had so much fun interviewing friends and clients and colleagues on this podcast. And interviewing my dad was just had an extra layer to it, obviously, because he shared some really funny stories and sort of interesting and profound insights into travel. And it really got me thinking and reflecting on that trip that I took when it was January 2009 that I left for Australia. And just before, if you listen to last week's episode, just before I left for that trip, my dad gave me his diary from when he traveled backpack through Europe. And he gave it to me as kind of a way to connect. And I shared with him at the end of the episode that him giving me that journal to read before I went on this big life-changing trip made it all feel easier and more possible for me. And I started thinking a lot about the similarities in our lives. So when my dad left for Europe, he was 20, 21, and he was living at home alone with his dad. Our circumstances were a lot different. His mother had just passed away, and all of his siblings were like away and lived elsewhere. In my situation, I had just gotten home from college, and my mom had moved out a couple of years prior, and my sister was living with her, high school sweetheart. And so it was just me and my dad. So that's one similarity, it was just me and him. And just like the timelines, like we both left on January 10th, super weird. He left in 1979. I left for my trip 40 years later in 2009. And we both started this trip with very little travel experience. My dad had never left the country. He'd never taken a taxi. He'd never been on a plane. My story I wasn't quite that sheltered, but I certainly had never done any sort of solo traveling whatsoever. I'd traveled a little bit with family. I'd been on a plane before just to the States, but I'd never left North America, and I'd never really done anything on my own in this kind of way. So after some pretty big reflections on that, I decided that I actually want to skip ahead a little bit in my timeline and read my diaries from Australia. I'm going to post some pictures and stuff of them, but basically there's two, and they're both like pretty thick. I wrote a lot while I was traveling. I always do. I always write like so much more when I'm traveling. But there's two diaries, and they're both jam-packed, and I have not read any of these diaries since I wrote them. So it's going to be a surprise for me. It's going to be an adventure for you. And I'm just excited to get into these journals because, as some of you know, I am actually about to take another life-changing, I think, trip. In just a couple weeks, I'm going to be heading to India. And India is a place that I have always wanted to travel to. I feel like I'm ready in my life in terms of like where my mental health is at, where my physical health is at. I've faced some challenges in both of those regards in the last couple years, but everything feels like more settled now. And so I'm feeling ready, and I'm feeling excited, and I'm feeling nervous. And I kind of thought reading these travel journals might give me some sort of guide for my upcoming trip to India. So those are sort of the reasons why I'm deciding to skip ahead to these journals. But not to worry, we will get back to 17-year-old Yoda, who's in this like amazing relationship that is also really hard. I'll get back to all of that. But for now, we are zooming ahead to January 10th, 2009, to the day that I leave for Australia. And I'm just really excited to share this adventure with all of you. So buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy flight. But I think if you've listened to last week's episode, this episode I'm hoping will be just as endearing. And yeah, just excited to get into it. So okay, to start us off, I'm going to describe this journal to you. So this journal is like a dark brown, I'm going to say pleather. I don't think it's real leather, although it might be. It looks pretty, you know what? It says made in Italy, and it looks pretty high quality, so maybe it's leather. And this one lasts from January 10th to February 17th. So basically in a month, I fill an entire diary. And the front page is plane tickets. I've taped plane tickets to the front. And then on the next inside cover, There's a couple quotes. One says, "No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Do something good every day. Be the person you aspire to be. Start now." Then I have tacked in a letter that is from my friend Jessa, who is the person that I actually flew to Australia with and traveled around with for a while. We did part ways, and I will describe that, but we went together, and there's this letter that is like, I guess we are in a conflict. We are in a big conflict. It is a 6-page letter, front and back, and reading just a few of the lines, I can tell we are in some sort of big fight, and I'm sure I'll get to that. But the next page is a postcard of, I believe, Great Ocean Road in Australia, which I did visit a couple months from now. And the caption I've written says, sure makes you feel small, don't it? I'm being very philosophical. Okay, so January 10th, 2009. Getting all my last things done. It's a weird feeling, packing and saying goodbye to so many friends. Friday night was really amazing. Aside from being on weird terms with Katie, it was a perfect evening and so many friends came out. Brian, Sam, Dylan, Taylor, Karen, Dan, Chanel, Jordan. Also had a visit with Shane and Dave. Met up with Rochelle and her new boyfriend, and Mandy and Blair. Sarah and Shannon came, Nikki, Ashley, and Laura. Jeff and Rob were there too. Got a real nice message from Jeff saying he'd miss me, and Rob saying, you know you can change your mind. Also hung out with Jason, who came with Sean and Shavik and Christian. It was really hard to say goodbye to him, and I will miss him terribly. Steve, Dean, and Dave all came drunk. Was ignored by Katie. Josh was nice to me. We were making out at one point, and a strange girl came up and said, oh my God, they're so in love. Heh. We left together after long goodbyes with everybody. I got upset in the cab ride home. Josh was promising me that he'd help me with my situation with Katie. Promising. We got home and I was so drunk, I just couldn't get into it. Till we woke up. Best sex ever. I'll miss Josh. We talked this morning. He said, I don't know how you can expect this to work. To which I said, I don't. In my heart, I'm very sad that he fell so out of love with me. The last time we talked, he said that his feelings about me hadn't changed and that he just misunderstood what a relationship should be. But I know deep down his feelings have indeed changed. He's still good to me and he still cares about me, but things kind of fell apart for us. Too many silly fights, too little talking, too much of different lifestyle and goals. This morning when we talked, he was looking at me so sweetly as we agreed that there is no hard feelings and how it's good how we are ending things we are not meant to be. And now that and I know that, but it doesn't mean I won't miss him with everything I have. So we've introduced a new character. I'm not going to change his name because I don't think there's going to be anything, incriminating here. But basically, we haven't gotten to this yet, but over the next, in between this journal and the previous journal I was reading, Corey and I break up and my heart is shattered. And I basically fall into the arms of this friend of a friend whose name is Josh. And we had a great short relationship because we had mutual friends. So it was very fun to hang out and spend a lot of time with the mutual friends, Katie and her partner Dean, and we just had so much fun. But we also were trying to fit a lot in. I think we started dating in maybe August or September, and we tried to fit in a whole relationship into 3 months before I left for Australia. And that obviously didn't go well. It was very intense. It was very intense and very turbulent. And when we ended things, I was trying to play it very cool, like I was okay. But as we'll see, I really wasn't okay. This entry continues, and I say, anyways, Saturday we lazed around. I was hungover. Wendy and Sal came to visit Josh. That's his parents. We all came to the house to hang out with Dad, drink, eat, and play cards. And those things we did. I made a huge feast, and we all had wine and beers and chatted. I was really happy in those moments. Really, really happy. Again, the situation with Katie was really bugging me, and Josh tried to help. It was hard. We went back to Josh's. I went to bed and woke up to more wonderful, amazing, better than ever sex. So good. We'll miss it. Came home and have had a busy time getting everything done. Has been a productive week. I visited with Rochelle, Kaylee, Jess, Brad, Andrea, and her girlfriend on Thursday, played pool and made dinner for me, Rochelle, and Dad. Got a real nice text from Andrea saying, be safe, have fun, love you. Also visited with Jenny, got tattoos, and hung out. She's been really awesome lately. I feel bad that she's going to be so sad without me. Mom, too. She seemed really torn up about me leaving. I called Omi and Opie today, too, wanted to say my goodbyes. Anyways, I feel really anxious, like I don't know how homesick I'm going to be. I'm trying to find myself on this big adventure, and I feel so alone. I know I shouldn't because I'm extremely blessed to have the amazing friends and family I have, but I'll miss them all so much. Anyways, Jessa is great, and I'm going to have so much fun, and I'm going to learn so much about myself and life. I'm really, really, really going to miss Dad. Yeah, so I am already feeling homesick and I haven't even left home. January 11th, I write, hours till I leave, doing laundry, packing, tying up loose ends, getting the jitters. I can't wait to see Jessa and get the adventure started. I'm reading Dad's journal. I think it was really nice how he let me read it and how similarly we write. He talks about his flight, how crazy it was, and saying goodbye to his dad, and the this is it moment, and how maybe he shouldn't go, but he was excited to learn about himself, how he had to say goodbye to his friends and missed their laughs, and how he was homesick on the second day. He also talks about meeting a lot of people and having a great time and seeing beautiful landscapes. But yeah, I will definitely be lonely. Then on this page, I also write messages to make me smile. And I've literally written down a list of text messages because I had probably, I've just gotten a phone. I haven't had a phone for very long, and these are flip phones. And I am not bringing my phone with me because this is a time where you did not travel with a phone or a smartphone. I think I bought a phone when I got to Australia a couple months in because I had a job and I needed a phone. But I wrote down a literal list of text messages that all kinds of different people had sent me. And it fills the whole page. And I think that's really sweet. Okay. January 12th, 9:02 a.m., Chicago Airport. So we flew Toronto to Chicago, had a layover, Chicago to San Francisco or Los Angeles. No, San Francisco. Had a layover, a long-ass layover, and then San Francisco to Sydney, which turned into Auckland and then to Sydney because of plane problems. But I don't recommend that, by the way. That's too much. So January 12th, 9:02 a.m., Chicago Airport. Already tired. Drove to the Robert Q at 1 a.m. after visiting with Jenny and Aaron at the house. Lent Jenny my car. Rochelle stopped by, gave me a nice journal with a picture of us and a nice message about how lucky she is to have me as a friend. Jenny was really sad to see me go, and she actually cried like a baby. She'll be okay in a week or so, although I still worry about her because I know how much she misses her old life. Sarah, Matt, and Shannon stopped by after 6. Was a nice distraction from packing and pacing around. It was good of them to see me off. Next, I visited Josh with Dad on the way. Would have been nice to have some alone time, but I suppose it would have just made things harder to say goodbye. We watched a movie and then watched each other. For the first time in a long time, I saw him really look sad that I was leaving. We had moments of alone time, just like earlier that morning when we went out for a coffee before he had school, where we talked about how much fun I'll have. I wrote him a nice note about how happy he made me the past while, how I'm proud of him, and how I still care for him. I wrote how I didn't expect anything of him while I was gone. But then we finally said goodbye, and he made remarks about when I get back, that I should write to him, that he'd always be here for me. It was a romantic and sad goodbye. He looked truly sad, like he'd miss me. We had a wonderful kiss. I tried not to cry. He looked at me through the front window as we drove away. Sadness fills me when I think of it. Saying goodbye to Josh was hard. Something we both knew was coming, of course, but we couldn't plan for how it really felt. Really intense. I miss him now. Would solve all my worries to have him beside me now to give me a kiss. The trip has gone well so far. Me and Jessa talked the whole way. Her about her parents, saying goodbye. We also talked about Josh and Brian and sex. I have a feeling it will be very helpful having her to talk to. She's very smart, insightful, and warm. We got to Toronto, had a very friendly driver named Don. He could sense our excitement, and we giggled the whole way. Security and everything went okay at the airport. Met a nice man who gave us tips on staying hydrated and standing up lots on the plane. Something about our feet getting... swollen. Something about our feet getting swollen. I'm like, listen, sir, we are 20. Our feet don't get swollen when we fly. That's a problem for today Yoda, not for then Yoda. Anyways, got a little flustered because I almost lost my passport and tickets. I am such a scatterbrain. Saying goodbye to Dad was hard too. He looked lonely as he drove away, but happy to see me off on my adventure. He still thinks I'll be home in a few weeks. Ha ha. I'll miss him more in a day or two, I think. The flight was hard. I think my next one at 11:55 a.m. will be easier. I hate takeoff and sleep through the flight itself, but don't much mind the landing. Heck, I even had to talk to Jess through the landing because she was so scared. I really feel relieved to be with Jessa right now. It would suck to be alone. Got to Chicago and am currently waiting for the next destination, Chicago to San Francisco, a 4-hour flight on another tiny Airbus. Hopefully there's a movie this time, as I don't have a good book. I feel excited to see San Francisco. I hope the weather is good and excited to get to Sydney. I very much miss my phone and the ability to text constantly. I want to message Mom, tell her thanks for the financial help, and Jenny to console her, and Dad to see if he got and enjoyed my letter, and Josh to tell him how I am thinking of nothing but him right now. It's hard and lonely, but also thrilling and new. I only had one small moment of panic earlier when I first got in the Robert queue and pulled away from Dad after leaving all my friends and Josh. And I felt sick to my stomach with panic. But I just talked through it with Jessa, took my mind off it quickly. I'll be set in again soon, though, I'm sure. I wonder what Australia will bring. How long will I want to stay? I think if I don't find a good job, I will come home when my ticket is for May 1st. If I do, and if I love it there, I will try to stay for longer. And I really want to hit up New Zealand as well. Anyways, I'm drowsy now, going to nap and buy a book. So innocent, so pure. The next entry starts with just deep breaths. January 12th, 10:23 p.m., San Francisco Airport. I feel like I wrote days ago, but it was just over 12 hours ago. It's been a long, emotional day. Glad to have Jessa, though, and I asked her for a hug, and she said, of course. The flight from Chicago to San Francisco felt long, and I was tired. I slept 2 hours on the airport bench, which wasn't long enough, as I'd been up since 9 a.m. on Monday. Jess and I played cribbage. The plane ride was okay. Met the guy sitting next to me who was from Orange County. We talked about Quebec, of all places. We had fun with Jess, just like playing games. After the flight, we decided to go downtown San Francisco. So much fun. Although I was a bit down and very tired, hungry too. Traveling had gotten to me. Jess was good though. That girl knows how to read a map. We took the BART shuttle bus going all the way through San Fran, took it downtown, walked around the big financial district, stopped for a sandwich, it was good to sit and eat and drink water. And I saved my BART ticket and glued into the side. Walked around through Chinatown. Was a pretty cool city. Smelt very much like Toronto. Interesting. We walked up to the harbor front. Walked out to the pier when it was just getting dark and took pictures of the lit up buildings and boats. Was really pretty and put my mind at ease a little bit. We had a pretty deep talk on the walk back to the bus. Had a huge laugh when Jeff's got spooked by a bird that apparently flew right by her head. Haha, she jumped. Anyways, we got back to the airport and all I could think about all day was Josh. I decided to make a very expensive phone call to him. Uh-oh. He sounded almost like he didn't recognize my voice at first. Then he sounded very excited and happy to hear from me and asked where I was and how it was going. Are you crying? I assured him I wasn't and told him I couldn't talk long but wanted to call him quick because I really missed him and that it was really good to hear his voice. Then I cried. I had a good cry actually when we got off the phone. It was a combination of being drained and emotionally exhausted and really pooped. I do miss him. I wonder if this feeling is temporary or if it means something. And now that I've actually settled down, I realize how important it is and will be for me to write. I feel calmer, and I want to feel excited. I want to get pumped to land in Sydney. I want to feel so much better when I can... I will feel so much better when I can crash for a long time and have a shower and see some damn sun. Cloudy and cool in California. What the fuck? And I am excited. It's just the lack of contact that's bugging me. I am so used to being so in touch with Dad, seeing and lying with and falling asleep with Josh every single day. I miss the conveniences. Even when I was gone at school, I had so many pictures and things with me, and now I just feel lonely. And I know it will pass. It will pass when I am swimming in the ocean, lying on the beach, and embarking on my own adventure. But for now, it's hard. I am trying to see the bigger picture. This is my adventure. And I am finally doing something. That this is totally what I want and need to do, that I can find a sweet job and learn lots, hopefully. I need to see all the stuff clearer than ever, since it's going to be the only thing to get me through the next few days. I'm not sure what to do about Josh. All I know is he called me babe on the phone and it melted my worries away. And then I wrote, it's such a hard thing to be on two separate paths. When will they meet? Will they ever meet? And are they even in the same universe? So, can we say anxiously attached? Holy shit. I have been away for like 10, 12 hours at this point, and I'm already like buying a phone card so I can call this guy that I swore I didn't even like that much, before I left. And I'm like writing, I'm just pining for my old life, and I barely even left the country. Oh, I'm embarrassed, guys. We've finally arrived in Sydney. January 14th. It's literally 2 days later because of the time difference. And I write 7:35 p.m. Sydney time, 3:36 a.m. at home. It's Corey's birthday today, although I've not had a time to think of that until just now. Overwhelming day in a good way, and I'm only starting to feel the extreme sense of tiredness. Ended up getting to Sydney late at 11:30. Took a cab with Chris, a really nice Canadian Brantford guy we met in the San Francisco airport. We got his number since he lives in Coogee. The flight was long, 7 hours in the end, but I slept and read and vegged out, had some laughs with Jessa. We got to the hostel, very tired and hot and hungry. It was humid here. Lady running the hostel, Sam, was extremely nice though, really cool beachy place. We met our housemate Nicole, another Canadian from Regina. She was really nice and by herself, so we invited her to come out with us for lunch. We walked around with 2 guys, but split up and ended up at this really awesome place that sold amazing salads and also books. Okay. Was a neat little restaurant / library. Me and Jessa had a wicked salad with halloumi, aka fried cheese, and it was awesome. After that, we ended up getting to know Nicole and went for some pints, aka schooners, at a snazzy rooftop bar. I felt better now, showered, full, and happy. Only thing to improve it would be sun. And I've got to message home. Great deal for internet, $1 for 15 minutes. Sent mom and dad detailed messages, I miss them, and checked Facebook. Josh sent me a message saying, I miss you. I sent him one back saying the same. It makes me wonder what my path will be here. Jessa seems very enthusiastic about staying a year now, and I feel very good about my experiences today, but I already feel the upcoming strain of paying for hostels and food, waiting for the shower, laundry, lugging my pack around, being roommates with strangers. It'll get hard in a matter of days. But Jessa gets on my nerves already. We walked around all day and I feel like she talks to herself sometimes. Anyways, she always sounds so philosophical. And for the love of God, do you have to have an opinion on everything? This is just no shade to my friend Jessa. She's a lovely human being, and this was just me being dysregulated. Then I said, end rant. I'm honestly just exhausted. I've been up since 9 a.m. Monday, and I'm on about 8 hours of sleep. Jessa is great. She's a really positive person who includes me in everything. I have to stop being mean to her and accept that we are in this wild and crazy adventure together and just enjoy it all. Work on myself. That's why I'm here, right? It makes me wonder, when will I go home? Jesus. When will I go home? When will I miss it enough to want to go? Will I miss Josh enough? Will the heat get to me? Will Jess get to me? Will I want to stay and work? Because that was kind of the point. Or will I want to go home with debt? It's hard to say. I feel good now, and no doubt I bet I will continue to love the scenery and water, add nice weather and cooking, and maybe I won't want to go. Or maybe Jess and Nicole are right when they both told me, you always go back for family and friends. Even if I could find a sweet job here, find something more permanent, I would always go home to Dad and Jenny and even Mom. And if I could continue on with Josh, sighs. Wholly overanalyze. I am just in la la land because I am honestly so tired. I need to just calm down and enjoy myself, live for now. I feel anxious a little, but I'm excited for what tomorrow will bring. This is like beyond anxious attachment. I guess, this is just anxiety. I'm very anxious. I'm very uncertain about the future. I'm very afraid. I'm very homesick. The next day is mostly more of the same. January 15th at 7:22 p.m. A busy, productive, awesome day. Got up at 6 a.m. Went for a huge beach walk with Jessa. We argued. That girl, too smart for her own good sometimes. We got ready and went downtown by bus. It was really easy to get around. We went to the wharfs and then walked around the harbor front in search of lunch. We found a really amazing street food festival. I got paella and met a cute chef boy. I was in heaven and was very happy to be there. I peered through windows and dreamed. I need to cook. I'm feeling lonely and cooking would cure me. So we walked downtown. Jessa was tired. We walked to the Opera House and took pictures, went to the Royal Botanical Garden. It was muggy and raining and overcast. And then we saw a spot of sun in the clouds. We bussed back, bought some wine, drank in the hotel room. or the hostel room, played slapjack. Then we decided to go check out a different hostel down the street, but the front desk lady was a jerk. Lo and behold, the sun came out. It was about 3:30, and we went to the beach. It wasn't too hot, and it felt incredible. I lay in the sun. I swam in the ocean. Oh my, so much fun. Laughed and smiled. It was all in all a really amazing day. I need to try my best to get along with Jessa and to just be happy. I'm in fucking Sydney. I am happy. I feel blessed and lucky to be young and free and in the sunshiny country that Oz is. I miss home. I got an email from Dad and from Jenny and from Mum today. I've not heard from Josh, but I've been thinking of him like crazy. So... The next page is literally, it just says, Saturday, January 16th, 3:50 a.m., crazy long night, ... and that's it. So let's find out what happened, shall we? I vaguely remember this. I actually have some pictures from this night, and every time I look at them, I think of this, like, crazy night. Okay. January 17th, 8:10. I have been in Australia for, like, 3 days at this point. Sitting downstairs eating an orange, craving that $5 coffee. I would be sitting outside, but yesterday I got a terrible, terrible sunburn, which is totally my fault and self-inflicted. I will remember that sunburn forever. Then we decided to go out and have a good time. We indulged on some amazing Ferrero Rocher gelato. So good, but $6. Like giggly little girls we were. Came back to the hostel and bumped into Shane, who was sitting with two guys who were from Tahiti, Michael and Philip. They were both very cute, French accented and different people. We chatted for a while and decided to go out to the bar where we met another Michael, a New Zealander, and we walked to the bar and had an amazing time. It felt so good to meet people. As soon as we walked into the bar, Michael won $170 on a $5 slot, and so he bought us all drinks. Turns out he had a gambling problem of sorts and blew about $1,000 that night. Anyways, the night was a total blast. We met this Irish guy named Ryan, who talked me up because he thought I was Irish, a compliment, since I was wearing a bright green dress. And it was so hilarious. We met up with him and his English friend Simon after another dude from Melbourne. All were very kind and flirty. We laughed on the patio, drank, talked, and took pictures. They invited us to a Barbie, but I unfortunately lost their number in my drunkenness. The other guys that we had gone with were around. We drank and hung out with them, but the mics were trying too hard to get on us. Anyways, on the walk back home, Jess and I got into a stupid drunk fight about peeing on the sidewalk of all things. Okay, so I don't know, one of us was just gonna pop a squat and the other one got mad. I can't remember the circumstances. We separated, furious at the time, although I don't really remember. Anyways, I went back to the hostel by myself around 3. I was sitting in the sunroom hall when some guy came up drunk and started to talk to me. We had some laughs and took some pictures. I found out his name, Martin, and he was from Holland. He had been there a while and was getting bored of beach life. Anyway, me and Martin made friends and then decided to go up to the beach. I, of course, felt hesitant, but I just had a good feeling and figured it was pretty safe. So we went to the beach, we laughed a ton, we sat on the sand, and he said, "How do you feel?" I said, "I feel good. Another beer would make this even better." And he said, "How about this?" And he kissed me. It felt good, ? It felt good, ? It was obviously nice to make out on the beach with this hilarious, nice, friendly guy, but I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't like kissing Josh at all. It made me miss him like crazy. Martine asked what I was thinking about, and he could tell I was lying when I said nothing. I came home at 6 a.m. So, Yeah, I remember this night very well. I can remember very specifically what Martin looked like and what his vibes were. And thank goodness he was a nice guy and nothing bad happened on that beach. And thank goodness when Jessa and I parted ways, in the middle of the street, we both ended up getting home safe, because that could have ended up a lot differently. But this line about just making out with this guy on the beach and just thinking about Josh the whole time makes me really, really sad. Yeah. So the next few entries are more of the same, more of Jessa and I just trying to figure each other out. And I am nursing a very bad sunburn. When I say very bad, I mean I got pretty sick from the sunburn. And a couple days later, Jessa's high school friend, her friend from high school who had was an expat in Australia, met up with us and made us a beautiful homemade pizza dinner with her husband or partner, and we drank wine on the beach. A few days after that, we went to a new hostel that was in an old railway cart, which was really cool. Basically, they'd converted an old abandoned train into a hostel, and that was really fun. But what I do remember from that is being pretty miserable because of my sunburn. I was very uncomfortable. I was in a lot of pain. Do not recommend getting a sunburn at any time in your life ever, but especially on the first day of your of your vacation. This entry starts, this is January 28th. I forgot to mention, I tried Vegemite. It was weird. It tastes old and has a fermented taste, but I'm glad I got to try it. Okay, so after some time, I started to like Vegemite because I've learned that there's two ways to eat Vegemite. Travelers tend to try it as if it's peanut butter and put a thick layer on a cracker or a piece of bread. Not the way to eat Vegemite. The way to eat Vegemite is on a piece of toast that has been buttered and then a very thin layer of Vegemite. That is delicious, and I would eat it if presented with some today. I'm starting to feel a little bit better, and I say I'm feeling so incredibly happy to be here, and I've got a new plan. Instead of going south and going to New Zealand, I'm actually going to make my way up the East Coast and head to a place called Byron Bay. My plans include make my way up to Byron Bay, get a job, meet new people, change flight, June, ? Plan next few days and budget, get a bank account, ditch some stuff. A couple of days later, I write, me and Jess had a fight. Another one. A guy told us we would never make it on this trip together, and I agree. I thought about ditching today, getting on the train and saying sayonara to Blue Mountain and my night stay here and just going on my way. Our fight was so stupid. We were walking back from the hike, so we went on this beautiful hike to a place called Blue Mountain, and Jessa started talking to a longboarder who we ended up inviting for dinner, an Aussie named Chris, with a sunburnt nose and curly brown hair, who says far out and cool to just about everything. We went to Coles to get some steaks. Chris bought us some T-bones. Pretty amazing. We had some beers and a barbecue, potatoes, salad with mango and sausages. We talked to Chris. Well, Jessa talked about longboarding with Chris and his dad, Mario, and his coworkers. They were bricklayers working next door. It was fun, but I started to feel a little bad/weird/left out. Jessa kept interrupting and finishing my sentences and cutting me off. I had a perfect opportunity to tell her it bothered me in a nice way, but I didn't. We fought about me calling her lame and her being sensitive. We are two very different girls. We should have seen this coming. Anyways, we argued outside over a bottle of wine, made up or at least got interrupted and forced into ending our talk. I am obviously overreacting and being so silly, but last night when we fought and I said, I'll sit with you, Chris, and he said, yeah, I only finished grade 10. I'm not the smartest either. I have never felt so awful and so stupid. And I heard Jess in the background saying things like, I just don't know what to do. It's awful, but perhaps just not fixable or something we should even dream of continuing with. Because the person I turned into last night is precisely the person I don't want to be. So yes, we had a big fight, and it was a fight that lasted all night, and we were not embarrassed to fight in front of the lovely humans that we'd met, and we actually partied with them all night, and we had even though we had this fight, we actually had a really good time in Blue Mountain, and I think we were both surprised at the fight we had, and it would not be our last fight. And I feel it important to make sure the listener knows that this is in no way a reflection of this person. This was me learning something absolutely crucial about myself. And I don't see how I could have learned this lesson without going on a trip like this. So what I learned about myself, which I kind of already knew snippets of, is that I need so much alone time to feel okay. And when I say alone time, I mean just myself in a quiet, dark room for hours. And the snippets that I'd had of that were because when I was in college, I had a roommate, and we had a common space, and then we each had our own bedroom. And if I was in my bedroom with the door closed and she was in the common space, I would feel so uncomfortable. I just feel like she was on top of me, even though we were literally in separate rooms with the door between us. And I think it stems from when I was a kid, when I was growing up and a teenager, my home was very chaotic, and I spent a lot of time alone in my room. And being alone in my room was one of the only times that I felt really safe and okay. But I've always been somebody who, when I'm forced to spend a lot of time with other people because you're traveling or you're living together or you're just spending, a weekend together or whatever, I've always been the kind of person who doesn't do very well under those circumstances. And I didn't know that enough to know that I probably should have just gone on this trip by myself. But I was also torn because I really liked this person I was traveling with. And there were times when we got along and I could see the benefits of traveling with somebody instead of traveling alone. But it was a hard lesson to learn. And to be honest, I've had to learn it a few more times before it's really, really sunk in. But reading this it doesn't surprise me, but it surprises me. It makes sense, but I'm also, like I said, quite embarrassed and just thinking of what I could have done differently, perhaps. Next day, I write, Jess and I made up in the late afternoon. See note. Oh, so that's the note that's in the front. At this point, I'm on a 2-hour train back to Sydney. I say, it worked out well because we ended up having an amazing jam session outside. She was singing and playing guitar. I watched from the window for a while, and I felt a pang of jealousy. She was a beautiful singer, and how cool is that for her? But instead, I grabbed my harmonica and said, mind if I join you? We sang and played Green Eyes by Coldplay and tried to figure out Bob Marley and Bob Dylan and Eric Clapton. It was a blast, and it was great to just sit and sing. While we were jamming, a guy approached us. He lied on the grass in front of us and said he was tired and asked if we would put him to sleep. He looked familiar. Played us a Scottish song that was close to him. It was beautiful, completely beautiful. He introduced himself as Richie, told us later in secret that his cousin was Jamie Oliver. Okay, Richie, whatever. That's why he looked familiar. I said, I can't decide if I believed him, but looking back, he looked and sounded just like him. Anyways, Richie gave us some cups of free boxed wine, and we were actually going to go to bed, but then we got talked into another glass and then another and then another. It was a really amazing, and we decided to all lie on the floor and give each other foot rubs. He said it was entirely non-sexual. And then we ran across the street to sit in the lounge of a posh hotel. We all lied there, intertwined, laughing hysterically, rubbing each other's heads and faces. It was incredible. Okay, so we're like not having, an orgy here, but we are being silly. We went back and met a nice German boy. He played us Bob Marley and gave a perfect back massage. Me and Richie lied close, just gazing into each other's eyes and smiling and touching. He talked so incredible, whatever that means. Not at all sexual or romantic, though. Okay. He told us we were angels, that he had never met anyone like us or had never been so happy, that we were different. Commented on how we just sat and listened. He had just sat and listened to us for a while and thought of how special we were, and he just wanted to meet us. He said all of us lying there was so amazing to him. And it was amazing to me, too. I felt a certain connection, and I felt a certain connection to Dad's stories from Europe, and it was exactly where I wanted to be and exactly when I wanted to be there, and I was so happy. Glad I made up with Jessa, that's for sure, and glad we met Richie. It was a fantastic night. Like, that is so funny and silly, and wow. The next one, I called Josh yesterday to talk to him a bit and told him to Google the Blue Mountains. He sounded a little bit sad. I told him to keep the messages coming. Okay, so tone has changed. So the next day, I write, this whole entry is a wild ride. I'm sitting in a hammock with a coffee. Life is good. I'm in a place called Coleroy. We took a train and then a ferry. We had awesome views of the Opera House and bridge, and then a bus. Was high on energy and excited to get back to the beach. We arrived to Coleroy. It's a nice place with a quiet beach. I lay in the sun for a while and then went for a paddle in the sea. Got pushed under by a huge wave, and it was very scary. Shortly thereafter, they closed the beach due to currents. Immediately after that, or not immediately, but later that day, we'd actually heard that someone drowned in that beach that day. And I had a very close call. So that was scary. Oh, on the next page, I actually put a clip of in the paper the next day. It was about the drowning that had happened at the beach that I had just been at. We had dinner. I made pasta primavera and sat outside. We met a table of people, most from England. I can't say I felt 100% comfortable with them, but perhaps that was because I was comparing them to Richie. I decided not to go to the beach with them at 10. I had had a lot of wine, but I was tired. Jessa went. So I was alone in my hostel room, and I cried. I bawled like a baby, actually. I decided I missed Josh. Could have been the wine or sleeping alone or meeting guys who didn't really notice me, but I missed him. I tried to talk to him, physically reached out and tried to touch his face, tried to graze his beautiful bottom lip with my thumb, lied on my side, feeling him, looking deeply into his eyes, and felt safe only for a moment till I realized he wasn't there and couldn't be. And it made me cry. I hugged myself and wished it was him hugging me with all that I had. The next day was a pretty tough day for me. I wrote that I feel awful, combination of heat with a shitty hostel, lack of sleep and food, and along with being super irritable and probably getting my period and really missing Josh. I can hardly stand it at all. I want to go home. I feel so negative and down. I could go outside and socialize with the extremely nice group of people, that I met on the wine tour today, have a beer and chat about food. I could do that, and chances are that I would cheer myself up in no time, but I almost physically can't. I'm tired from the heat and the wine tour today, and I'm missing Josh so much it hurts. The next day at 7:50 a.m., I write, I wish I could erase that whole entry, I truly do. Being stuck in the mood I was in last night was a bad place for me to be, a bad place for anyone to be, really. I just felt so sad and emotional and a little bit lost and perhaps a little resentful. I lost a whole day, which could have been a beautiful day. I lost it sulking and crying and wishing I was anywhere else. No more. Poor Jessa, thinking I was mad at her all day. I tried to be nice, kind of, as to not start a confrontation. I know if I told her what I was actually feeling, she probably would have told me that everything would be okay. And in the end, everything was. I was successful in losing the wretched mood I was in. I paced and sat and cried and then emailed Josh a frantic love letter and then said no more. I came downstairs to the outside deck where I knew Jess was. We saw the couple we met on the wine tour and then met heaps of people. There were a few German girls, an English guy, and a nice girl from the UK. I also met Tino, the happy, very nice chef from Germany, who had come here 3 years ago, learned to speak English, became a chef, and now has to go home tomorrow to get his visa sorted out. Tino is a very happy guy who smiled and kept saying hello and waving and making jokes. He made a barbecue feast for everyone, hamburger patties, sausages, braised cabbage, potato salad. It was pretty awesome. He also had a huge pot of goon. Okay, let me describe what the pot of goon is. The $11 for 4-liter box of wine that everyone loves here, for everyone to share. I watched him cook some syrup to add the flavoring to it. The first batch had pineapple and oranges. The next batch had cinnamon, cayenne, and sugar and balsamic, which we called Kickstart. And then he let me make a batch called This Is Your Life. We partied here. I mingled and chatted with everyone, mostly with Tino. It was nice to meet a chef, although I felt slightly intimidated by him. We left at 10:30 to go to the beach. It was so fun. Me and Tino sat in the sand. Jessa sat nearby with a boy. Me and Tino talked by the railing about how much we love the beach. I felt good around him. Everyone seemed to know and love him. It was easy. He was an awesome guy, so happy and in love with life. I felt very blessed that he was choosing me to chat with. We had a strange moment, though, when we went for a walk on the private beach. He wanted to take me to this big rock that he said was his favorite place on the beach, and so we went. He tried to convince me to jump from this tall wall. He was holding my legs from the ground, saying, "Trust me, please." When I finally jumped, it was my back to the wall, and he was facing me. He kissed me. It was strange, mostly because I felt nothing. Just like Martine, it made me miss Josh more than anything. And because it was unexpected. I thought he was really innocent and sweet and my friend. And then I found out he was perhaps just lonely. I crossed out lonely and wrote horny. He kissed bad, too. It only lasted a short while. It made me think of the time Josh kissed me that morning where he said, "I'm so happy with you, Yoda," and that was an amazing kiss. It was perfect. It's nice here in Newcastle. We found out that there is a 24-hour coal line, which is a queue of huge freight ships that brings the world's largest supply of coal out of Newcastle. It's apparently the second richest city in Australia as well. The crowd last night was really cool too. Just 3 huge picnic tables of people feasting on barbecue food, drinking homemade goon, smoking, laughing, and playing guitar. I felt liberated. I did nothing with my hair or face, wore no underwear or bra, and just felt very free. Then I wrote, "I'm not sure how it's possible, but I think I might have gained weight. Probably because every time I eat heaps of food because I'm always just so hungry. And it's not the healthiest food either. I need to start eating salad. Oh God, I'm craving a Greek or Caesar salad like nothing else. Today so far I hate that I did this. I've had 1/8 of a watermelon, plus 2 pieces of white bread, one with Dijon and one with peanut butter. Gross. And an apple. Yesterday I had 2 pieces of white toast with jam and butter, potato salad, fish and chips, and then granola." So, yeah, it wouldn't be a diary of mine without tracking my food. Shortly after that, Jessa and I were kind of like slowly creeping up the East Coast, and we have decided to go to a place called Byron Bay. We arrive in Byron Bay and are just kind of getting our bearings. We both have to get bank accounts. I think I'm starting to think of like where I might apply for some jobs. But mostly I'm writing about how much I miss Josh. I thought about him yesterday all day and all night. Thought of him today all day. Concentrated on how much I miss him. And it just consumes me. The next day I write, thought about Josh a lot today. I miss him. I miss his body. I thought about our first date today and about that sex we had in Niagara Falls. Miss him, ... Next day, I miss Josh. Thought of him all damn day. I want to hear his voice real bad. I wonder if he misses me too. So basically, I'm just like really, really anxious about missing this guy. Then I also write, kind of miss Corey. I mean, I do miss Corey. I think about him all the time too, his laugh and his smile specifically. I can see it in my head right now and it makes me smile without being able to stop it. I miss his family and lounging in bed with him. I miss telling him I love him. I miss all the times we had. Oh, wow. I miss his hands and him feeling me up. Wow, sidetrack. Insane how thinking of them both makes me feel so different. I miss and remember Corey in ways that I will never feel about another human being ever. My first love, my first real love, and boy, did I love him. I want to write to him. I want to ask him if he thinks of me still at all ever. God, I miss him. Oh, it hurts right now. And it makes me feel bad because Josh is still on that back burner, and I just can't help but think of Corey sometimes. Sidetracked again. Must be the champagne. It makes me spill my guts. So the next day I arrive, this is February, early February. I arrive in a place called Yamba, which I learn means plenty of fish. It's right on the coast, coastal town. Jessa and I have actually parted ways, and she is heading to Cape Byron. And funny, I kind of miss Jessa too. So I'm in a place called Yamba. I said I didn't do much last night. I played a neat game called Banana. I'm meeting up with a guy that I met a couple days before named Ian. I said we drove to Yamba with an awesome Swiss girl named Nadine. We rocked out to songs on his iPod in his van that he just bought. The drive was scenic and nice. Got to Yamba and loved it. Hostel was beautiful, like a combination of all the things I loved about all the hostels so far. Big, nice, clean kitchen, nice rooms. I'm in an 8-share with Nadine. Cool reception people, nice showers. We walked around town, found a really nice sashimi knife that I want to buy so bad. Went to the bookstore where I ran into Ian again. I understand now that it may be much harder than I thought to find work. Ian invited me to go visit his friend Fred on his ranch. We drove there, got lost, but it worked out well because we ended up stopping for a pint on the waterfront. Once we got to Fred's, I felt truly amazed. It was a beautiful ranch on a secluded island. Fred and his wife, Chris, were so nice. We sat around the pool with a beer, went in for a smoke and some bowls, then went out for a tour to count cows, as they said. What a fucking amazing day. So grateful for Ian for being the nicest fucking dude and taking me, and for Fred, the coolest and most fun guy. The drive was so beautiful. We saw cows and calves, saw kangaroo hopping around, some ducks and horses. They had a chill dog named Sake. It was a beauty day and saw lots of cool stuff, including a gross prawn farm. Got back to the hostel at 8. I made a bland stir fry, onion, garlic, celery, carrot, soy sauce, sambal, and risotto rice. Nadine is super nice. I really like her. We sat in the stairwell drinking champagne. I did something so stupid this morning. I was walking down the hall and stole some guy's shoes. Tried them on, kept eyeing them up, and took them. They got me on camera and questioned me. I didn't know what to say except to apologize. I feel sad and like a bad person, and like karma is going to come back and bite me. I feel so awkward and so paranoid that these people hate me now, which they probably do, and I don't blame them. I don't even think I can stay here another minute. I might try to cancel my next night here and then get on the bus to go meet up with Jessa. I need to reevaluate. I almost thought about stealing money from some other girl who was sleeping in our room. I can't do that. Just because I'm budgeting, I need to think consciously and stop stealing food. Ugh, I want to escape myself. Also, I called Josh this morning and it sounded like he was with someone. I'm completely petrified that when I get back, he will be with someone else, that he won't care about me the same way anymore, that he'll have gotten over me. I'm terrified. He says he misses me and that he's glad I'm having fun, but I can't help but think he's making friends and possibly meeting girls at school. And it's so hard to think about because I miss him so much all the time. It makes me want to cry right here and now. I think I might, but everyone is looking at me. The next day I write, I'm feeling a bit of the hostel life creeping up upon me. The whole hand washing and hand drying your clothes as you go, the not showering, or the swimming that counts as a shower, the eating habits, buy a few things and make the cheapest meals, meeting and then meeting people and saying goodbye the very next day. I was thinking about the shoes too. I can't be the kind of person who steals to save money and get ahead. I need to do some serious soul searching. I steal food and water, cold water from the fridges sometimes. I've also cheated whenever I can get ahead. It's not who I want to be. It's childish and it makes me feel bad. I need to make a vow to stop, to become a better person for myself and to the people who love me. I had several moments yesterday of missing Josh to the extreme. Nadine tried to distract me, and so we went fishing. It was fun. Right on the beach into the ocean. We only caught a few babies, but I felt proud of myself for stepping up and throwing them back. If I'd been at home, I would have depended on someone else for that, I'm sure. But I still miss Josh. I was holding back tears for most of the day, especially as we watched the sunset. I wish I was with Josh, with his arm around me, hugging him, to steal a kiss, wondering what he was doing at that very moment. We then met up with Ian. He was lying in his hammock. I think being with Ian will be good for me. He's an extremely nice guy. We split up though, met Nadine. Me and Nadine made an awesome dinner, and she even set the table all nice for us. We talked all night. We went out to the Spanish tapas place for some drinks and talked some more. I was distracted and I went to bed with a little buzz, so I felt a little better, but I still woke up and instantly thought of Josh. I miss him. I wonder if I should keep the messages coming, if I should keep calling and keep telling him how much I miss him. All he usually says is how happy he is for me that I'm having fun. So perhaps I should take that as a hint? Or should I just assume that he misses me just as much? It's so hard. I wish we would have just stuck it out when I left. I could have gladly done without Martine and Tino kissing me. I wish I knew how he felt. It would put my mind at ease so much. I think I love Josh, and I wish I would have told him before I left. So I'm ready to do some soul searching. I've only been in Australia for a month, and I am really filled with anxiety. It's like one good day, one bad day, one good day, one bad day. I am surrounded by great people, and so far I've been kept safe. The next entry is I make a list of things like to keep my mind in a better place. I say go for a run, explore, get up for a sunrise, go fishing, play harmonica, write a song, write a poem, read a book, make a recipe with just 5 things, lie on the beach, sleep naked, rent a bike, paint a picture, pick up litter, have a short black, enjoy wine, fly a kite, have a picnic. Make yourself happy. I'm going to finish this episode with some wisdom from this beautiful friend I made, Nadine. And I was in touch with her for a long time, but we sort of lost touch now. Nadine, if you're listening, I love you, girl. It says, Nadine is so sweet and innocent. The way she announces, I am happy, or this is good. I aspire to be more like her. I truly do. Here's something she said to me today that I want to remember. It's amazing how sometimes when you travel alone, you meet so many new people and then you say goodbye.
You're never alone, but you do feel lonely. You have such highs, such amazing moments sometimes that are so, so good. And then you have your lows, which seems so, so hard. And it's just amazing. Okay, I'm going to wrap this episode up there, and I look forward to, I think this will be another 3-part series, just like my Thailand journals. I'm going to split up the next episode will likely be the second half of this journal with the first half of the next journal, and then the final episode will be the end of my Australia trip. It doesn't really get easier, but it does get more entertaining, more exciting. I do find a job. I do have some more love stories, and Jessa and I sort of come in and out of each other's lives for the next couple months. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly found some things that I think are going to help me on this India trip. And we might not have another episode for a little while, but I hope you enjoyed listening. And I so loved recording this episode, and I can't wait to share all about my India trip with all of you. So thank you so much for listening. If you have a travel journal or a regular journal or a book of poems that you would like to share on this podcast, I always love having guests. You can reach me at www.doulaofwords.com or yoda@thedoulaofwords.com. All right, everybody, big, big love.